Welcome to Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel's cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. And just like last week, we're back.
We are back.
We're for sure back, at least in time, for the second to last episode of Secret Invasion.
Yes.
How exciting. Mm-hmm. There's no time like the present. Better late than never.
Right, unless you're Nick Fury, who is living in the past.
And also someone who doesn't like to bother his friends, apparently. Look. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the penultimate episode of Secret Invasion, episode 5, titled Harvest.
Yes.
There's one episode left. The finale is left. And actually, here's what I'll say.
What are you going to say?
I feel like I actually know what the whole thing was about now. After this episode.
Is it because Nick Fury said that it was personal to him?
This time, it's personal.
It's personal.
Yeah. My name's Emmanuel.
My name is Sofia.
And after a long hiatus, we've returned to go episode by episode, at least for the last couple eps of Secret Invasion.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of twists and turns, a lot of skrull action.
Yes.
A lot of people we can't trust.
Yes.
Like Rhodes.
So technically living in the real world.
Yeah.
Don't trust nobody.
Yeah, we don't trust anyone IRL. Hey, you don't have to be on Earth. Is it 616? Is that the Earth that this is all taking place in?
I have no
the
idea.
Multiverse? You don't have to live there to not trust people. People wear masks all the time.
All the fucking time.
I'm wearing a mask right now.
I don't even trust you.
You don't know me?
I don't know you.
I don't know you. Yeah.
You don't know me.
You know what else, though?
What?
Fury in this episode has the technology to change his face. Remember, that's how he gets away.
From Black Widow.
Yeah, and Fallsworth, the great Olivia Colman, is like, you don't have one for your whole body?
I love Olivia.
And he's like, nah, I do.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
That's just not this one.
Anyway, so in this episode, a whole lot happens, but the most important thing is we learn that Nick Fury possesses, especially by the end of this episode, literally has in his pocket a McGuffen, a vial that contains Harvest, which actually sounds really disgusting, but it is the collection of DNA from all of the Avengers after the battle for Earth. I thought this was the Battle of New York. This is the Battle of Earth. So
Earth, baby.
That
the
is,
whole planet.
We're talking about Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
So that is basically every superhero alive.
Yes.
Their DNA is in this vial in the MCU. Yeah, Batman's not in there. Sorry, people.
No Batman, no
Superman, not in there.
No.
Sorry. So there's this, like, I guess, just
magic
genetic code to everything in there. And that is what Gravik wants. Gravik knows about this because when he was working with Nick Fury, he helped collect this stuff.
Because of course he did.
Gravik's got a lot going on too. There was a little mutiny in this episode. Some of his people don't really trust him.
No.
They're like,
but why would you?
I know.
He's a bit much. And now they're starting to see, oh, wait a minute. You're kind of crazy.
Well, he was kind of a charismatic leader. People were following him. They were like, oh, yeah, we do need to save this planet. But now they're like, wait, why do we need to, destroy people? Why do we need to all become super Skrulls in order to do this? Yeah. Which is kind of wild. And we've got a team up of another group of characters in this episode because Gaia and Priscilla, the Skrull wife of Nick Fury, they also team up to basically have a funeral for Talos, who is legit dead. It's hard in the show to suss out who's dead for real because, Gaia herself died, got shot, and came back. But Talos was dead.
Yes.
At least so it appears, right? So Talos is dead.
Even Gravik got shot in the face.
Gravik
we
got
were like,
shot.
oh, and then just kidding. He just healed it right up.
Maria Hill is dead, it seems like, right?
Yeah, she's gone.
Would you be surprised if the last episode of this series, Talos is like, just kidding, I was the president, I'm Nick Fury.
He randomly just shows back up? That would be really lame. I don't know if I would like that. Actually, I know I wouldn't like that.
Okay, yeah. It gets harder and harder to do if you do it
so many
all the
times.
Time.
Yeah.
What did you think about this episode overall? A lot of, I guess, table setting for the finale.
You know what I would be more excited about is if the Skrull that is playing oh my gosh. I'm drawing a blank. No, not Gravik.
Gaia? No. Talos?
No. I mean, yes, Talos.
Priscilla.
I think if Talos was not Cap,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to play.
Okay.
Don Cheadle.
Rhodes.
Yeah. If Gravik was playing Rhodes, that would blow my mind.
Yeah.
That would be a whole different ball game.
It's kind of a cliffhanger there, too, because Rhodes visits the president's hospital room.
Yeah, and then we have to see if that's going to happen. Okay, so this episode for me was probably the most fun of all of the episodes that we have watched. It seemed, but I asked for that, so they listened. No, but I was really craving this sort of action and like actual plot moving along in this episode. I wanted, first of all, I was super satisfied that Nick admitted that it was personal because we said that it was, and I was like, this is all for nothing unless it's like it's just about him, which it totally is.
And they kind of have to address the whole why don't you call the Avengers? I still don't buy it, by the way.
Which they straight up did. Yeah. she
Fallsworth asks that question.
She's like, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the question that we're all
wondering. Do you
buy
it?
No.
I don't buy it. No,
I don't buy it. I think that there's some other things that he's hiding from the Avengers.
I guess so. The fact that he has their DNA, but I mean, the fact that big. Well, the fact that there are a million Skrulls about to be given all of their powers is maybe a reason to, kind of eat the fact that you may be embarrassed a little bit, but you're going to need all the help you can get.
But honestly, it can be reflected onto Fury, can't it? Because he is married to this Skrull, and so whole reason why they're there is because of him. And so the Avengers could just be like, Nick, what the fuck? Like, why did you let this happen to begin with?
Yeah.
And then also not telling them for years. And then the blip. Right? And then just kidding, he comes back. That never happened. Yeah. And then like all of this is still here. Like there's been so many things that have happened.
And I guess if we're, just looking at all of the other shows and TV and the movies, everyone's busy. All the Avengers are busy.
Everyone's busy, and then they would stop what they're doing to go and deal with the Skrull problem.
Yeah.
If they even see it as a problem, because they may just want to have everybody live peacefully or like go out and find another planet. I don't know what their plan would be. So I guess it's fine that they're here.
And while we're talking about other Avengers, I think the one that is in this show, Colonel Rhodes.
Oh my God, yeah.
We don't know yet where the real one is. And I assume he's not dead. He's in one of those machines that they showed us where it's just like feeding your memories or whatever. But that I think is... He is an Avenger, so I don't want to be like there are no other Avengers in this, because there is one, but he's not for real.
No. And you can tell that he's not Avenger Rhodes because he's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
He's doing all like the paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like the message man, to be honest. Yeah. It's very much obvious. But but Nick knows. In this episode, we see that he knows.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
He's got the feeling. And the other cool thing is Fallsworth, who is Olivia Colman, who's amazing and great.
She can do no wrong.
She can do no wrong. She's great in every show and everything she touches.
I just saw her in The Bear.
Amazing. But it's cool because she also understands that now. There's Skrulls everywhere.
Yes.
Didn't believe Fury at first, but now believes him. And not only does she believe him, she kills her boss because he's a Skrull.
Yes. She's like, bye.
Kills a couple more Skrulls. When she's questioning them about kind of their plans. That's the doctor early on who created the DNA machine, I think. She
Super Skrull person.
But I'm also wondering, like, this show is being promoted as kind of the dark and gritty, kind of more down, grimy and more dramatic thriller show for Marvel.
And now I'm feeling that.
And finally I'm like, okay, she's straight up shooting people in the head.
Yes.
So that's pretty dark, huh?
No remorse either.
No remorse.
She's like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's part of what's fun about her character, I think. Fallsworth is cool. I wish that it was a team up between Fallsworth and Fury the whole time.
Which it's about to be.
I hope so. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, at first Fury didn't know if he could trust her or not.
Yeah. And he's got other friends. Talos was a huge part. Gaia was a huge part.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot happening so quickly. These episodes have been like 30-something minutes long. And we've got, I feel like Gaia is almost kind of sidelined already.
This episode specifically moved on quickly for me.
Yeah.
The others, not so much. But this one, yes, I was about this one. Also, the team up with Nick's wife and Gaia.
Yeah, Priscilla and Gaia. Because they do get attacked. They get attacked.
Oh my gosh. That's the action that I wanted the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, keep it going. I mean, obviously the next episode is going to be the finale, so there's going to be a lot of action that happens to, like, from Gravik and Fury, but like I wanted that the whole time.
The craziest thing for me is I don't get a giant sense of fear about what might happen.
Yeah.
Like there's a X-Men Days of Future Past also had basically two countries with their nukes pointed at each other.
The Russian thing in this show is
and I mean, like
intense.
that movie basically had the Russian thing. It was the Cuban Missile Crisis with Kennedy and USSR, and it was really dangerous. Like there were literal, you could see it, and there's a tension, and the X-Men need to solve it.
Yeah.
And this one, it's a lot of just saying stuff. Yeah, saying Russia. Being like, Russia didn't do it. It was Russia. It wasn't Russia. Oh, my God.
We gotta do it on Russian land. It's Russia.
I mean, I feel like...
It's going to be World War III.
Yeah. But
They've said that I don't know how many times.
But we need to feel that and not just have someone say that. Does that make sense? Like, so far, it's just been a lot of Nick Fury. And I guess, like, Rhodes or other people in rooms saying that. But it's not like... a news report, and it's not like people going into bomb shelters.
Yeah.
And so part of me is like, I feel like if I was a regular human being, I would not even be worried. Like I would be walking home, being like, oh, okay. And then they would show a news report because that's a big thing in this episode. Rhodes releases the footage of Gravik as Fury killing Maria Hill or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're now...
the most wanted man.
Yeah, because it shows you killing Maria Hill. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like if I was watching the news or on Twitter and be like, oh, shit, that sucks.
That's crazy.
But it's not like I'm going to be like, I don't know.
Your day-to-day is not affected by this, this news.
And I guess it's like the tough thing is they have to keep the threat low enough so they don't have to bother the Avengers. And
yeah, that's kind of the weird like middle ground, isn't it? Like it's like a gray area of like it's not important enough to call the Avengers, so like don't get too excited. But it's also
pretty important.
But all of the human race may be eliminated by the Skrulls because you don't know where the Skrulls are. So like panic, but like not too much.
And it's crazy because I'm about to say the big budget version of Secret Invasion, even though this budget is $200 and something million.
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like, I think that's also why I really want so much more out of this because it's 200 million, bro.
Here's more than that, but here's the comic book.
At least.
Okay, the comic book is Skrulls taking the powers of Avengers and fighting Avengers. So basically, it's Iron Man versus Iron Man type stuff.
Yes,
that's the comic book. The hard part is the secret part. And in the show, we've seen some extremist powers because they've healed themselves. We've seen Groot. We saw Groot in this episode.
Yes.
But it isn't so much a fair... I don't know. It's like the bad guys cosplaying these superheroes because it's not someone with equal amounts of powers fighting like a stalemate type of thing.
Right.
Or really, honestly, if you're a super Skrull, you have multiple people's power. You'd be a little bit more capable.
Do you think this would have been better as a movie?
I think it should. I think yes. I think so. I think that focusing on Nick Fury was an interesting choice, although natural because Talos was in Captain Marvel and the Skrulls were in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And so was Nick Fury and Sam L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But I feel like this threat could have been much larger, but because it's not a movie and because it's centered around Nick and his kind of circle, they had to keep it much lower.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, that's tough for me to think about. But I am starting to see a path where, how many Super Skrulls are there, right? We've got Gravik. We know Gaia is a Super Skrull. Is there's Amelia Clark? There's probably more.
I was going to say, there's at least in Gravik's circle, a few more.
Is Amelia Clark now a super powerful person in the MCU? I think yes. If she doesn't die or whatever.
Sure.
And then
she
also
could be added.
there's like this major loose end of this DNA machine is sort of a machine that can just create mutants because it's not skull specific. It just imparts DNA into your DNA.
Right.
So we could technically just have every mutant possible with this machine, which would be wild because that is something that we know is going to happen at some point.
And I was going to say, like, that ties the MCU to
the X-Men. Yeah, and all of that stuff.
Yes.
I'm projecting that. They haven't said that, but it's possible now. No one's really messing around with DNA yet.
No.
In the MCU. Well,
I mean, Banner.
Beside the super soldiers from Captain America and
Banner.
Bruce Banner. I guess it happens all the time. So,
but aside from that.
But aside from all the other times they do it, nobody does it, you know. It's kind of crazy. Or how do you feel about Nick?
Guardians too. Guardians, they do it.
This happens a lot in these shows is all of the ancillary and supporting cast come together and fight as a team. You know, it happens.
Yes.
I would say all the time. Hawkeye, Miss Marvel.
Yes.
Whatever. It happens all the time.
It's very much a theme.
Who's in Nick's team right now? We got Gaia and Priscilla.
Yes.
Who else? Or do you think that's enough? Or what do you think the implications are to have Talos's daughter and his Skrull wife? And I guess, Fallsworth, Olivia Colman. But
yeah, I was going to say Olivia Colman's definitely a big character to have now because she is probably better connected now that Nick has kind of been demoted at work, quote unquote.
And her eyes are open.
Yes, she's woke for sure. But I think that Rhodes could potentially be woken up legitimately. Like the Skrull could like die, and then like actual Rhodes comes up and like hopefully helps.
Yeah.
But or the series could end with him just being rescued. Like it doesn't, just along with all the other people who are inside of those little refrigerators.
Yeah.
But I think that since some of the Skrulls have now turned against Gravik, I think that could be potentially like an inside job for like an army, hopefully, of Skrulls that want to help. Maybe Amelia has some sort of connections and she can kind of talk to those who are still like in the compound itself, because they tried to overrun him already once. They got real physical. Ooh, and then we got to see real Gravik Skrull form.
Yeah,
which
after
was really
the
cool.
failed mutiny, he kind of
yeah, that was really cool. Like I like that shot specifically, like when he's on the table.
The only day he was in makeup was for this. Yeah. In between reshoots for Barbie, am I right?
And that took like it took hours to do. Poor guy. Yeah, I think that would be really cool too to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of heavy hitters on Nick's team. However, Gravik does have a lot of super serum, and I don't know if he's actually going to give him the harvest.
That's the thing.
I think it's just
Fury.
more of like a nanny boo boo, stick your head in doo doo type. And like he's just gonna dangle it in front of his head, and then the fight's actually gonna go.
That's why this episode was a little different for me because it felt like he was. I mean, we kind of focused a lot more.
Why even get it to begin with?
What?
Why even get it to begin with? He could have gotten like a fake version of it.
Well, that's
told him like this is it.
And I think that's why I come to like one thing that he says in this when he's talking to Fallsworth, especially when she asks him, "Why don't you call the Avengers?" And he's like, "All I have is my brain, basically, you know." And Nick Fury is known to be a master manipulator.
Yeah.
If you remember Avengers, he kind of manipulates them to feel Coulson's death a little bit.
Yes.
Even though maybe some of it was made up. And so I feel like I trust that he's got some kind of a plan in place here with the harvest, but I really don't know what it is. And then also that darker side too of him secretly getting everyone's DNA. That's a very Nick Fury kind of
manipulation shit.
Yeah, like I know that you're all Avengers, but I still need to be the one
in charge
here. But it's kind of, it must be exhausting for him, which is kind of wild to think about because he's gone through like the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
blip.
like the blip. There's all kinds of like basically beeping Captain Marvel in space to tell her to come. Like he's gone through a lot, so I don't know. Do you feel like we're headed towards an ending for Nick Fury in the MCU?
I really hope not because he is, before this, he really was a badass character for me.
Yeah, huge.
Like it's insane. And like his reputation is just amazing in the MCU. I would not want this to be the way that he goes out. I think he deserves better than that.
And it also, assumedly, even if he does, you're not even sure if it's true because we visit another gravesite for him and he's died multiple times.
Right. Like the fact that he has multiple what a badass thing to do, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just so cool. And I would not, I wouldn't want Disney to do him like that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good gray area for him. Mm-hmm. He's always maybe, even if he dies, quote unquote, in this, you're like, okay, well, is it really? Or is he just with Priscilla somewhere?
I mean, even the blip, whenever we saw him kind of like disintegrate, we were like, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
It was a whole.
And he kind of started off. Remember, he's the first after credit scene in the
That's
first
what I'm
Iron
saying.
Man movie.
Like, what? It would be. I would
He's
not
got,
want this.
yeah, I mean, they would do better. I mean, and also,
I hope
like,
they do better.
Look, this is kind of off topic, I guess, but they asked Samuel L. Jackson if he has control over Nick Fury's story. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, because if he did have control, he wanted Nick Fury to have a Wakanda show. Like, that would be really cool. That would
be amazing.
And he was, so, I mean, who knows? I hope he sticks around. And we're not even there yet because we've got a finale to watch, but I really do hope that he is okay.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I get any other big things you're looking forward to in the finale to Secret Invasion? Or anything you think we missed?
No, I'm excited to see Nick kick some ass like only Nick can. If he dies, Disney, Marvel. If you lay a finger on Nick Fury, he's a precious little head.
He's kind of being set up for a nice ending, though.
I really hope so. I really hope that this is one of those like
his wife didn't kill him. She could have.
She totally could have. Mm-hmm. I really hope this is one of those like, see, this is why I'm still in the game type movies.
Yeah.
Or not movies, shows, because he deserves more. But I am excited to see him fight. And I really want Priscilla and Amelia and Olivia to just come in. And Olivia is really surprising me in this because she is just...
She's great.
She's just as badass as he is.
Yeah.
Like, what?
We saw her like
she was listening to
interrogating someone earlier in the season. Uh-huh. She's kind of now just straight up shooting people who she wants to. Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
And then she listens to London rap. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for her.
She's a fun character.
Yeah.
I mean, and can you imagine her and Valentina in the same room?
I was going to say her and Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character together would be like, mwah, chef's kiss. Anyway, so yeah, I'm excited to see her too. I want to see what she is like during an actual fight scene, like up in the action, because that's just going to be a fun thing to see. Gravik, R.I.P., I hope. And then I hope, honestly... Fury apologizes to the Skrulls and like legitimately tries to get them either a nice little peace treaty with Earth or finding an actual place for them to go, because
it'll definitely be crazy to see where the Skrulls end up.
Yeah, do you know how many planets there are in this universe?
Oh my gosh.
There are so, not even in this universe, in multiple universes.
Yeah.
Do you know how many universes there are? Like there's somewhere they can go.
Too many.
There's somewhere
Too many. Mm-hmm. Well, we'll be back next week to talk about the finale for Secret Invasion.
The finale.
Which we're really excited for. The finale episodes have always been big. Whether or not they're like great, I don't know, but they've at least like swung for the fences most of the time.
Sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
About this one. Sophia, what do you have to plug?
Just the same old stuff. Thank you so much to everyone who is listening. Really, your contributions go such a long way. We appreciate it very, very much. If you want to further your contributions, please check out everything that Delphin Pod has on Patreon, patreon.com/DelphinPod, DelphinPod. And if you want to follow me on any of my socials, you sure can. Everything is going to be at _simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
Yeah, head to that Patreon and listen to all this stuff and watch all that stuff. We just watched Barbie, and tomorrow we're watching Oppenheimer. Barbenheimer is upon us.
Yes, it is.
So we'll be talking about that. That'll be a huge, most important day in theaters in a long time, and we've got all that stuff on Patreon as well.
Yes.
And then Ahsoka is coming out next month, and that'll be big.
I'm so excited
for our Star Wars pod. But thanks so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.